Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of my podcast, Is Breakfast Included? Now, over the next few weeks, months, what have you, I'm going to be bringing on friends of mine and even people that aren't friends from the touring industry to kind of talk about what they do in their role of making tours happen. My first guest is this week. His name is Rene Rodriguez. He's a very old friend of mine. He served as a tour caterer for Pantera, ZZ Top, and most recently Garth Brooks. But what he's doing now is pretty interesting too. He is a poker room chef, and he's going to tell us all about what that implies, how he goes about it, how he makes it happen. But I'm going to let him tell you all about it. You all right?
Yeah, I'm ready when you are, brother.
Tell everybody who you are.
Well, my name's Rene Rodriguez. I was a tour caterer for a little over 25 years. Now I just do poker is what I do. So I'm a chef for a bunch of poker players in the DFW area. And I'm here with my friend Bernie. I hadn't seen him in a long time. I just want to tell you how much I love you, bro. I missed you. And I'm so glad to see you today, brother.
Oh, likewise, man. I think we kind of decided it was about 23 years since we last saw each other, right?
Yes, it is. It's been a long time, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as far as him being a chef for poker players, we are in an actual poker room right now. Mm-hmm. That's what the background music is. I feel like I'm going to go out with no money.
Man.
Well, man, let's get started.
Sure,
you were a tour caterer. How did you get into that?
Well, this all started.
First of all, what is a tour caterer?
Okay, so basically what we do is we go around from city to city following the band that's out on tour. And so we feed them breakfast, lunch, dinner. We do the dressing rooms for the bands. Pretty much whatever they want, you know. They have a rider which basically details in what they would like in their dressing rooms. And so that's pretty much what I did. I started in 89 and retired in 2017. Yeah, 2017 I retired. The last tour I did was I was out with Garth from 2015 to 2017, and that was the last tour I did. Retired for family reasons, helping my son with the granddaughter, who's 4 years old now, and she's amazing, ball of fire.
Right on.
But yeah, so when I first started, I was a stagehand, so I would help set up sound, lights, band gear, all that stuff whenever bands would come to town.
I think that's how you and I met.
Yep.
We were both local pushers or runners.
Yep, exactly. And so I met my first tour caterer manager by the name of Paint. His actual name is Mark Leotis. But I met Paint, and one day he was talking about how they were doing so-and-so catering for them. And I was like, you know, I'd already been in the restaurant business since 86. And I told him, hey, man, you know, I got some experience feeding and cooking and stuff. And so he talked to the owners, and they gave me a chance. They gave me a break to see what happened. And, man, I think the first show we did was ZZ Top at the Cotton Bowl in 89. Yeah, Santana was there, and a bunch of other bands were there. And I do believe that was the first show that I'd ever done tour catering-wise. And, man, let me tell you, it was hot. It was right in the middle of summertime. And, you know, the Cotton Bowl doesn't have any kind of covering whatsoever.
Yeah.
So it's extremely hot. But, man, it was the greatest experience I had ever had in my life. So
up until then?
Yeah, it was great, man. I loved it so much, and I did such a great job that the company, the owner of the company, had me start working for him permanently doing tour catering. So the very first tour I actually went out on, and this is a shout out to Dusty Hill from ZZ Top. I think the name of the tour was Recycler Tour back in 90. Yeah. Recycler Tour. And so when I finally got to meet the guys, they were very welcoming, treated me like I was one of their own. I'd never experienced anything like that in my life, you know, especially with with rock stars and musicians and stuff like that. Those guys were humble, down to earth. Billy Gibbons, man, that guy, he's incredible also. I would make pico de gallo for him all the time. He loved the pico de gallo that I made for him. So we hit it off really well. And so every time those guys were out, I would go out with them and the crew that I worked with. It's amazing because so we were in California and we had just got through doing a show. And this is how much that these guys really showed that they cared about me. And they actually invited me to be on the bus with the dancers. So here I am, 21 years old, and I'm on tour with ZZ Top. And I get to go from one city in California to another city in California with the dancers. I mean, what more could you ask for, right? Yeah. It was amazing. It was great. Met a young gentleman by the name of Joe. I can't remember his last name, but incredible guy. I'll always never forget you, Joe. If you're out there somewhere, brother, give me a shout or whatever. I'm here in Dallas. Just give me a holler.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Well, being on tour, I know that I have a list of actual people that I like to get in good with, and number one on that list is the tour caterers.
Oh yeah.
Like they're up from the ass crack in the morning till, they work all day.
Yeah. We varied, our work schedule varied. So we would be up by 5:30 the earliest in the morning, have breakfast ready by 6:30. And then just hustle all day, 6:30 breakfast, 12:30 lunch, and then I think maybe 5:30 dinner, and then in between all that time we would get all the dressing rooms set up for the bands. So we're up at 5:30, and then if we're lucky, we get maybe 3 to 4 hours of sleep before we hit the next city. And it all depends on travel time also, But yeah, we were lucky to get maybe 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah.
And
I would befriend him because I used to be a real picky eater, and some people would argue that I still am a picky eater. But
yeah, hey man, you know what you want, and that's that's nothing wrong with that at all, brother.
The caterers on our tour are my best friends.
Yeah. Definitely.
Anyway, you worked. ZZ Top was your first big gig. What was your favorite gig before Garth? Before Garth, we're gonna get to Garth.
Yeah. I guess, man, there were so many shows that I've done. I think one of my favorites was Page and Plant when they played at Reunion Arena back in 92, 93. Then they played over at Dallas Convention Center probably like maybe 90, 91.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. And those guys are great, man. What a bunch of professionals. So me and my buddies, Dave Bolduc and Ken, I can't remember Kenny, but we went to go see the stage and the lights before sound check and all that. And so there's 2 double doors that separate the floor level to the dressing room level. And so we were out there checking it out, and it's like, all right, cool. So we decided to go back. We had to get ready for dinner. And I walk in first, go through the double doors, didn't think anything of it. And so to my right is Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, and they're just hanging out against the wall. I didn't think anything of it. I'm just like trying to hurry up and get through and get into the dining room. And as soon as I pass right in front of Page and Plant, there's a strobe light going off. And so apparently I walked in during a photo session with Page and Plant. So the photographer loses it. He's upset, losing his mind. Page and Plant are laughing their ass off. And I'm just walking to the kitchen or the dining room. And so that happens, and probably 45 seconds to a minute later, my other 2 buddies come through the door, and Page and Plant are still there. And as soon as my buddies walked right in front of Page and Plant, there goes the photo strobe again. And so Page and Plant at that time start losing it. They're laughing their ass off. And the photographer is just unglued. He's screaming and hollering, who the fuck let these guys in? And this, that, and the other. And Page and Plant are just dying laughing. Yeah. And this was unintentional. We had no idea that they were doing a photo shoot. So we had crashed the photo shoot. And I think that was one of my favorite happenings with those guys.
Too bad he was so mad. He could have got you a print of that picture. That would have been great.
I'm telling you, man, it was hilarious. I couldn't believe it.
So before we go any further, man, I didn't even ask you, like, did you go to like any type of culinary school to learn to cook? It's just all self-taught?
It's all self-taught. I read a lot of books, worked in restaurants, so I got firsthand experience. And, culinary school is great to an extent, but they don't teach you, I don't know if they do nowadays, but they didn't teach you the pressures of being in a restaurant. Like orders coming in all the time, just fire. And a lot of kids that we used as interns for the culinary school, man, they had no idea how much of. So, I think I got the best education, which was hands-on and experienced it firsthand, There's no better way to learn whether you're going to be able to handle it or not.
And you're kind of all over the place. You kind of can cook anything, right? You can prepare anything.
I can do desserts from scratch. I can make salad dressings from scratch. Different types of food.
Yeah, cuisine. Yeah, cuisine. What's your strong? Like, is it Asian food? Is it Mexican food? Is it burgers and fries?
I would say probably Mexican food is one of my strongest suits. But I'm well versed in everything. I'm actually started studying more on Asian cuisine.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites type of food to eat. So yeah, Asian food's right up there, number one for me.
And so, would you? Do you have to go to culinary school to be considered a chef, or are you considered a chef? I refer to you as a chef all the time because I know your pedigree.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't necessarily. You don't necessarily have to go to a culinary school to be a chef. And I'll give you a prime example. So I lived in Austin for 12 years, and I worked at a fine dining steakhouse. And our executive chef was a gentleman by the name of Raymond Tatum. Yeah, Raymond Tatum. And he was the executive chef for Jeffrey's down in Austin for probably 10 years. He did. He was in books with PBS and a couple of shows that they did. Great Chefs of the West. This was probably 90 through 92, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. And that's who I studied with when I finally went to decide to go full upscale cooking. So, and man, let me tell you, Raymond Tatum is one of the best, hands down, chefs that I ever worked with in Austin. Not how should I say? He's not uptight. He's not uppity like some of these chefs that I know that think they're God. Yeah, this guy was incredible. He served in the Coast Guard. He taught me. He took the time to teach me certain things, and I could never, ever thank him or repay him enough for the time that he spent with me and taught me. Great guy. So if you guys ever get a chance, look up one of his shows on Great Chefs of the West on PBS, or look up his books, or one of the books that published some of his work. So, great guy.
Right on.
Yeah.
So, we'll get right into it. You worked for Garth Brooks.
Yes, sir. I did.
What year did you get hired by Garth?
I worked from 2015 to 2017. And it was funny because I was actually running a forklift when they were in town. I was helping set up the sound lights, doing stagehand work. And my brother was called in to help with the tour caterers. The name of the catering company was called, oh my God, what is, it's been so long. Let me think about this for a second. God, it'll come to me in a second. But anyway, so my brother talked to the owner, and so we texted on a Sunday, met on a Monday, and then I was flown out to Milwaukee, Wisconsin to do the first, I guess, trial run to see if I would be compatible with the crew and stuff. And so after that first day, the first tour, the first city I did with those guys, they took me, they accepted me, and so, you know, it was it was great, man. I loved it. Kim Shepard, Greg Hopkins, they were the two other chefs on the tour. They were the two main chefs, and then there was me. You know, I will never take credit for all the stuff that was, I guess, thrown my way, as like the food being great and all that. Greg Hopkins and Kim Shepard, they all were the main driving force in that kitchen, and all I did was help with them and do whatever they needed or asked of. I will never take any full responsibility because it's a group effort. It's a team effort. And I just wanted you guys to understand that it was a team effort. And I really appreciate the time that I spent with Kim and Greg.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
You're very humble, although I know you. So, I mean, I'm going to give you all the credit.
Well, I appreciate that.
So
buddy.
how was Garth? I've ran across people who have crossed paths with him. I've never heard a bad word about Garth Brooks. Is it true, or is he just a crazy man behind the scenes?
Man, let me tell you, he's a crazy man behind the snes, but he's
in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way. He's very humble. Respects everybody. Let me put it to you this way: even if you're a janitor at the venue that he's playing at, he will come talk to you. He will spend time with you guys. He doesn't think of himself as any better or any worse than anybody. It's just he's an incredible individual. His wife Trisha, she's just as a humble and loving, and man, there's no better people that I in my lifetime that I've ever met besides the owners of the catering company, my first catering company that I worked for. Yeah. So the name of the company that I was working for was called Concert Kitchens. That's how I got involved with Garth.
Okay.
So, but yeah, incredible person. Both of them, Trisha and Garth. They knew my family by name, always asked about them, always talked to me, you know, to see how my day was going and stuff. And you know, we had my son's mom had passed away just before Christmas of 2017, and Garth, you know, found out about it and pulled me to the side and you know, basically told me if there's anything that I need or the family needs, that, you know, he would help out as best he could. You know, I don't.
That goes along with a lot of what I've heard about Garth.
Yeah.
He's just a good human being.
Yeah. I've heard one person say a negative thing about him, but you know, that's what happened from what I was told. That's his business, you know. He's a great father. So I have nothing ever bad to say about Garth. He's just one of those guys that you will always cherish having a relationship with.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've said a couple of things, the Page Plant incident and then this. I was going to ask you, like, is there any, before we move on to what you're doing now, anything memorable that you remember from being a tour caterer or being on the road?
Oh, man. Okay.
I think guys like us, like you and I, like, I think I always tell people, like, I thought I was going to live and die in the fucking hometown that I was from.
Yeah.
And then we get to see the world. We get to go, you know, do this really cool thing. And
yeah, very few people get to do what we do.
Yeah.
I've been blessed, man. Really, I have been blessed with not just being able to do the things that I've been able to do or see, you know, parts of the world that I've never seen. And then working and meeting great people like Bernie, you know. I mean, just great people all around. You know, there's been some bad experiences. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you, but overall, you know, meeting great people, having great experiences with people outweigh the bad. Um, I think maybe one or two memorables. We were doing 9 Inch Nails at Fair Park Coliseum. So most people know that back then they had an ice rink. So it was a local hockey team, minor league. So
the Dallas Burn.
Yep, exactly. So these guys laid out a bunch of plywood, probably like 3 sheets worth of plywood on the ice, so the kids couldn't slip and fall and hurt themselves. Well, as soon as, and this happened twice, and this happened with Pantera and 9 Inch Nails. So as soon as the band gets on, the plywood comes off the ground. There's people surfing on top of the plywood. There's fires starting on the plywood. It's insane. Those guys were crazy. My boss, Kent Hayner at the time, actually got to sit down and talk to Trent Reznor, if I'm not mistaken. And from what I took away from Kent is he really thought the world of Trent Reznor. Very smart, very educated. Had a great conversation with him, and he told me that I think that was one of his favorite musicians that he's ever run across and talked with.
Right on.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that knows Trent, but you know, so. I hear different stories, and none of them are terrible. So I've always just assumed he's a good
opinion.
guy.
Everybody has a story.
Everybody's got a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Especially these days.
Oh yeah.
So hey man, so now you I'm gonna refer to you as a poker chef. You prepare food for poker rooms. Mm-hmm. How did you get into that?
Well, I was living.
Did you play poker or?
Well, no. At the time, I was living in Austin, and I had run across some people that were talking about poker. So it's like, okay, it kind of piqued my interest, and so I went and played a game, a local home game down in Austin, and they found out that I was a chef. So they were like, well, why don't you try chefing, you know, feeding the poker players and stuff. I was like, all right, cool, I'll give it a shot. And man, I'll tell you what, I started doing that, and I never looked back. I quit the restaurant business. It was tough, man. Being in the restaurant business, I was working 2 jobs. I hardly cleared maybe $2K a week, or not a week, but $2K a month. And so that was real stressful, real stressful time. And then once I started doing poker chefing, man, it was a big difference between night and day. I went to work one day on a Friday at 9 a.m. and I got through about 10 o'clock Sunday night. I worked through probably about 2 days, and I made so much money that day that I went to the restaurant that I worked at, and I told them that I was done with them and that I quit. And they were like, what do you mean? And it's like, yeah, I mean, I struggle making $2K a month with you guys, and I just worked 2 days, and I made $3,000 in cash. And I don't see how I can work for you guys anymore.
Right.
And so ever since then, this was probably 2012, maybe 2011. And ever since then, I never went back to the restaurant business.
So when you say you worked Friday through Sunday morning, do you sleep or do you have time to rest?
Yeah, I got like probably 3 hours worth of sleep, and then got back up and went shop to get ready for the next meal.
So it's kind of like being on tour.
Exactly. But you know, you're more in you're not as mobile as much, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to be. You don't
so
have
the
to worry
rest
about
is
traveling.
actually rest.
Exactly. Yeah. So you don't have to travel from city to city. Now, don't get me wrong. I miss that a lot. I really do. You know, the only reason I had to retire was, like I said, for family issues, and like I said, it's the best decision I made, retiring from tour catering. But like I said, I'd be more than welcome to go back out. But if I do, it's only for one person and one person only, and that would be Garth. You know, all these other guys, there's a lot of tour caterers out there, tour catering companies, I should say, that hold themselves more above other people. Latitude 45 is one of the worst. They consider themselves to be like God, and if you talk to them, it's very seldom you get a hello or any kind of acknowledgement. And it's a shame, I don't understand why chefs have to be like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be humble, be respectful, learn to love your brothers and sisters. Because we're all here together living on this planet, and there's no telling if you'll ever see your friend or if you'll ever see that person ever again, and if you leave on a bad note, then, that's all they'll remember you for is leaving on a bad note.
And that's all you're going to remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think it's like that with, like you said, you'd only go back to work for one person. And in my experience, like I meet a lot of techs that they've been with certain bands for 20, 25 years. I've been with the band I'm with for 12 years. And you kind of, it kind of starts from the top of how everyone's treated. Mm-hmm. And if there are bad apples in there, they're usually weeded out eventually. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, if Garth runs his ship like he runs his life, then, it's understandable that's who you would go back for. Yeah. I always say you stick with the devil you know.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And, man, look, Garth, he will send you home if you mistreat anybody, if you talk bad to anybody, even if it's a local, even if it's like cleaning guys or anything like that, and he finds out that you acted like what you did, and he won't put up with it. That's not Garth.
Because ultimately, when you leave that city, the local people remember the crew.
Exactly.
And they go, well, if the crew's shitty, he must be shitty.
And they don't want that, and they don't want that reflecting on Garth.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
So as far as being a poker chef, what does your menu usually look like? Do you do anything exotic? Is it
It all depends on the games. Some games have a set budget, and some games have a bigger set budget. So you're looking from anywhere from $125 as your budget to $400 to $500 as your budget. So I try to do the best on a 125 to where they get a couple appetizers, three different choices of entrees, sides, salad, dessert, and breakfast. So basically, that's what I do. I'll do a dinner menu, appetizers, and then breakfast. And my day usually varies. It starts between 11 a.m. or 12 in the afternoon. And then by the time I get through shopping and cooking and prepping and all that, and then feeding and then getting into breakfast and feeding those guys breakfast. Some games I'm there till 4:30 in the morning. Sometimes I'm there till 7, maybe 10 o'clock the next morning.
So you do all the prepping and everything during the day. I guess they just kind of start eating around 7, 8.
Yeah.
The games started.
Depending on the games when they start. Like some games start at 5, some games start at 7. Majority of the time, the games that I cook for, they start at 7 o'clock. So usually I've got anywhere from 6 to 7 hours of prep time to get everything set up, and then start planning to get started on the next meal. Like cooking bacon. I have a set time so like breakfast is at 12:30. I start cooking breakfast. I start prepping my breakfast at 10:30. So that way, when the time comes, I'm ready to go. All I got to do is just go.
Yeah.
And I'm ready. So.
And you don't have to answer this next question, but I have to ask it. Mm-hmm. Are the appetite of the players dependent on if they're winning or losing? Like if the losers,
sometimes.
Do they kind of like, nah, I don't want to eat?
Yeah,
and the winners
sometimes.
Like eating pancakes?
Not all the time, but sometimes. Yeah. And then sometimes some of the players, they'll eat before they come. And then they realize that I'm there, and they're like, oh, man, well, I shouldn't have ate. But, you can't control those guys. So you just got to go along with the flow and, just make the best of everything.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy
I love
this
it,
environment?
I love it. Pretty much I'm my own boss. everything's left up to me menu wise.
Is everyone respectful towards you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And I treat everybody like family. I try to treat everybody like family. I try to get everybody's name, remember their names, and then whenever they come in next time, man, I'll call them by their first name, and they're like, impressed. They're not impressed, but they feel more comfortable.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because you talk to them, you know them by name, and they feel more comfortable.
Right on, man.
And that's what I strive to make them feel like family and feel comfortable, so they never have to feel out of place.
Do any famous poker players ever pop in around here?
Not yet, but there have been some sightings of some famous poker players.
Scouting the place?
Yeah. Johnny Chan, I believe he has a place here in Dallas. I know they opened a place in Houston, and I do believe they opened a place up here.
What is he,
Dallas.
like 4-time, 5-time?
Something like that,
He's
yeah.
big,
WPT or
yeah.
WSOP champ, yeah. Let's see. There's been some Greg Raymer sightings also.
The fossil man?
The fossil man, that's it. And then TJ Cloutier, actually, he's a Dallas native, so one day we were at this place called North Dallas. North Dallas Poker Room. So TJ Cloutier plays there quite a bit. And so I was playing against him. And for a beginner, I did really well. I bluffed him out of a hand, and I showed the bluff, and everybody at the table just come unglued. They were laughing so hard, and TJ Cloutier is just like, okay, I got your number now. So
that was my next question. Were you a fan of poker? Did you play poker before you started this? Is that how you got connected with it, or was it just by accident?
Not really. I mean, I occasionally watched it every once in a while on TV whenever they did like the WSOP main event on ESPN. And then, like I said, I met some people that ran poker games and were talking about it. And it's like, they invited me over and say, come on, let's go play some poker. And so once I got the itch for that, then that's when they introduced me to the catering part, the cooking part of it.
So they introduced you to a way to make money instead of
losing money. Right. Exactly.
Poker runs pretty deep in my family. And I'm a fan of. I don't fancy myself a good poker player, but I would love to be in that environment just to kind of observe,
right?
Not to lose.
I got you.
Which usually would happen. But do you ever get the the urge to hey, I'm gonna go sit in,
well, when it comes to if I'm working the room, then I'm not gonna sit down and play. But if I get done early enough and I have the time, then I'll sit down and play. But I try not to play when I'm working.
Right on.
So, you got to keep that separate.
I've never been to a poker room. I've just seen them in casinos. They have like a kids table where I could go. A table that's not.
There's some rooms that do 1-2-5, which are the blinds, $1, $2, and then $5. And the minimum buy-ins, like $100, so that way you don't go. You don't lose yourself. Yeah. Exactly. And that's pretty much the best way to learn.
Yeah.
To play poker, or you could always go up to Choctaw, or you could always go up to WinStar, and play there.
Yeah, I'd rather not do that.
Yeah. There's so many rooms. There's so many poker rooms in Dallas that, you got so many choices to go to. But if you ever want to come and play, man, I'll bring you to the best places to come and play, where you won't get hurt, so to speak.
I don't leave.
Yeah, broke.
Served. So, are there any plans for you, man? Not tour catering. You ever have any plans of opening your own place, or in these days a food truck or something like that? You ever had?
Well, I've got a lot of people that want to invest in a food truck. I've got this one player. Cyril, he wants to do this, and I'm just trying to think of the best way to be able to work it, because once you get into a food truck, it's pretty much you're married to the food truck.
Yeah.
You have to spend X amount of time prepping, shopping, cooking, and then opening up. and then having to clean up and all that stuff. So you're pretty much
get ready for the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
If you did do that, would there be a certain type of cuisine you would?
I would. Yes, I would.
That's missing around here.
So I haven't seen a really good fried chicken truck. Fried chicken, man, you'd be surprised if you have the right recipe and the right batter. You can make a killing serving fried chicken. I would like to do a fried chicken truck, but also have homemade fried pies.
Yeah. You know, I think I saw on one of your menus one time you served fried chicken on your menu, and I was like, I'm going tonight. I love fried chicken. As a matter of fact, I just got back from visiting some friends in New Jersey, and there's a food truck there called No Forks Given, and it's like chicken sandwiches, chicken tacos. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, there's nothing like that here. So
yeah, no, there isn't. I've yet to see a food truck out here that does solely fried chicken. And if I ever did that would be my main point of sales is fried chicken. And like I said, I would have fried pies on the side, also fried or baked, just for the people that can't do cholesterol.
Yeah,
I would do baked pies also for them.
Do you do your own fried pies?
Oh yeah. I've got my own recipe for my dough. I can do apple. I can do like a cherry pie, a blueberry pie.
I'm gonna hold you to that, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hold you to that.
I'm gonna get there, brother. I'm gonna get there. I promise you.
Well, Rene, my podcast is called "Is Breakfast Included?" And you're the perfect person for this question. If breakfast was included, we had Asian food for lunch.
Yes,
but
sir.
If breakfast was included, what would you have, man?
What would I have for breakfast, man? I'll tell you what. Trisha she would love to have breakfast as a dinner.
Same here.
So
same here.
Breakfast sandwiches, always at the top. I love using sourdough bread. I tell you what, I got a dealer friend. His name is Eric. And Saturday,
car dealer, right?
Yeah, car dealer. So he was a dealer. Yeah, car dealer. Sorry, guys. So we were at the game, and so I had waffles for breakfast. So he had the bright idea of turning waffles into a breakfast sandwich. And man, let me tell you, as soon as I sent that out, the first breakfast sandwich with my buddy Eric, I probably sold 10 sandwiches after that. I mean, it was a hit. It was incredible. So I'm going to do that again this coming Saturday, but I'm going to tweak it up a little bit. I'm going to add syrup already to the batter, so when it's already sweet when you bite into it, and it's just going to be crazy, bro.
So is that what you would have, this waffle breakfast sandwich?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's off the chain, brother.
Thanks,
off
Eric.
The chain.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah. Thank you, Eric. So,
well, man, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Man, whenever we got some more time, Bernie, I'd love to do some more talk with you, bro.
Hey, we can do this anytime, man.
Yeah. You know where I live, where I work at. We definitely got to do this again, Bernie. I've got so many stories, bro. It's crazy. It's a life that few people ever get to know. Few people ever get to see or do.
Like I said, man, I don't take what I do for granted. I miss it tremendously because I've done every shitty job in the book.
Yeah.
And I fell into this one, and I miss it. I love it.
Yep.
I love seeing the world on someone else's dime. But, we don't have to do an interview to hang out, brother.
No, definitely, bro. No. We're going to get together, and we're going to have some more fun, and we're going to enjoy our lives, bro. We're going to enjoy our friendship. We're going to enjoy our lives, and it's
23 years. It was 23 years since we saw each other. Is it cool? Can you push the poker room you work at?
Yeah, bro. So I work at High Five, right off of 635 and 75. I work
in Dallas,
at another
Texas.
game. Yep, Dallas, Texas. I work another game. So there's 2 games, one on the 3rd floor, one on the 4th floor, and I want to shout out to Top Shelf Poker Room, Joshua Dowdy, Will Carry On. You guys are the best. Corey, also, I'm not going to forget you, Corey. You're in there. You guys have been amazing to me and have given me a platform to where I can feed your players and make them feel happy and make them feel like they're at home, you know. The Hangar is another one. Nia Trung, I love you, brother. Thank you so much for letting me be here with you. Steve Jin at the Hangar. Michael, you're at the Hangar. You're on my list, brother. Kevin, I can't forget Kevin either. I love you, boss. Thank you so much for everything. The owner of the Hangar. You know, all the other rooms out there that show love to me. I love you guys. I love each and every one of you. King's Lounge is another room that showed me love. I love you guys. Clay, you're on the list also, brother. So anybody ever wants to get a hold of me, you could reach me through my email at renrod089, and I'll point you to all the great poker rooms in Dallas and Fort Worth area. So,
right on, man.
I love you guys. Thank you for everything that you guys have done for me. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Bernie, my brother, you know how I feel about you, bro.
No, dude. Likewise.
Man, it's feels so good to finally see you after all this time, bro.
Yeah. Well, likewise, brother. Thanks for doing this, man.
Thank you, bro.
Thanks for lunch. What was that place? Taste of
Chengdu. So if you guys ever want some really authentic, great Chinese food, it's in Carrollton, right off of George Bush and Old Denton Road.
Yeah.
Taste of Chengdu.
All right, brother. Well, thank you.
Appreciate you. It's so good to see you as always, my friend.
You too, man.
Fuck yeah.
Right on. My good buddy, Rene Rodriguez. I want to thank him for taking the time out to talk to me today and let us all see the inner workings of tour catering and what it's like being a poker chef. He's a pretty busy guy, so I really appreciate him. And it was great catching up with him. Like we said, we hadn't seen each other in 23 years. We've kept in touch, but, you know, it was really great having lunch and spending the day with him. All right, guys, I am done. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you next week.